Hi, my friend. It's Pat Sloan here for Block Wednesday. We have Block Wednesday plus the second half of the video. I am doing a crumb block chatter. So this is like a two-parter today. So let's do Block Wednesday first. Every home has hidden treasures. That's the name of the block, hidden treasures. And where might they be? They could be in a lot of places in our home, but today I want to focus on the garage. The garage tends to be one of those places that we put a lot of things, and we may not remember some of them. So there might be some really cute, wonderful, crazy hidden treasures in your garage. I know Greg was digging around in there the other day and actually found a bunch of articles that were about his hometown, and he had just saved them in a folder, and they had been with a book in a box, and so it was kind of a fun treasure hunt to find. So here is the block. Ta-da! This is the treasure hunt block. This is a really fun one, a lot of squares and 2 sew-and flips. But look at what squares can do. You can have a quilt with a lot of squares and it can be really spectacular. The bonus project today for this block I think is pretty darn awesome. I would love to make it super scrappy. So what I decided to do was make this block in a second color. Now, I'm probably going to use this color because I'll show you in a minute why. But if I change it up so that the light part is actually dark and the center here, this would be light, what would that look like? Well, let's just see. Get it on here, nice and tidy. Here it is. This is, did I hold it this way? Yeah. Here's the same block done with a dark background and a light middle, and then the blue is actually just about the same shade. Let me hold it so they're both going the same way. So here it is, like just about the same shade of blue, not much different. So crazy, right? They look so different. But you could do this as a whole quilt, and you could like switch out and use all different navies, just like we have from the fabrics in the home is, like whatever fabrics you're working with. So let me show you how they look on the wall. Because of the way my other blocks have the colors, the light one is really the better choice. So every time I do the video for Block Wednesday, I put up all my blocks on the wall. I take off everything that's on the wall and I put these up because it just looks so great to see them together. And when you go over to my website today to download the block, you will see a photo. I'll have a straight on photo so that you'll be able to see it better. All right, so this block, we'll go over here, and here it is with the light. Now I thought about using the background, this sort of background fabric for it, the little dot, but then I decided that I just didn't want that much light. So what that does mean though is I need to use some of this background in some of these other blocks that are coming up so that I can pull that back down here again, because I used it over here and over here quite a bit, and now I need to repeat that down here. And I could do the dark one. So here is the dark background. That looks really different, doesn't it? Looks so different than this one. Here they are, one right under the other, just so that you can see them together. Now I probably won't use the dark background. One reason is this is pretty dark. It has a lot of dark in it, and that's tending to feel pretty heavy. And it's a lot of area for the dark. So I'm probably going to go with the light, but I really like the dark one. It would be something that I would consider taking this and making several of them and doing like a lap quilt where maybe they're all scrappy, like all different shades of this blue, all different navies. And then, making that up. Got a lot of blue quilts going on, don't I? I still have another blue quilt I have to put the sashing on. So it's like blue, blue, everything blue. Okay, before we do crumb blocks, got a couple different things. One, as my job of unofficial ambassador for the Virginia Quilt Museum. Today, Wednesday, is the Great Community Give. That is something that's going on all over the country, and I'm going to link you up to the Virginia Quilt Museum if you would like to support the Virginia Quilt Museum today for the Great Community Give. That would be just wonderful. It would keep the charter of the museum going to showcase the quilts and their stories and their makers. So the Virginia Quilt Museum is really special to me. Being a Virginia quilt maker, this is where I learned to quilt, was in Virginia, and I'm a Virginia resident for many, many years now. Not born and raised here, but I got here as soon as I could. So I've been here over 35 years. Today is just a great day for that. Even if you just give $1, everything supports the museum. And remember, this coming weekend is the Schmetz Needle Talk. So if you were going to try to get in on that, you want to get that ticket, and then you have the another talk coming up later that's also there. And I don't know if they have anything more loaded. I haven't checked, but check around and see what's going on. Okay. I know, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to support the museums and other charities today. The other neat thing that I want to share with you is my friend Kate at The Confident Stitch, the website, just told me that she has put into her website that you can now order fat quarters. I know, fat quarters are one of the things we quilters absolutely love because they're a quarter yard, but they're the wide version. So instead of getting a long skinny strip, you get a wider, shorter strip. Like a half a yard cut in half. So it's still it's a quarter yard, but it's a fat quarter. And they're very usable, and we quilters love them. Well, you can now order those off of The Confident Stitch, and so the link is below, any fabrics there. It's just a really cool option. And this is a picture here of what the little drop down. You just put in the drop down when you check out how much of that piece of fabric you want, you can get a fat quarter. Yay! And one last thing is, a lot of you wanted to know about this kit when it came in. So this flag kit is super cool, and it just came in, and you know it's going to go fast. So I wanted you to know about it just in case you want to pick up a kit. Okay, now let's do some crumb chatter. Crumbs are like this, like when you're cutting, and most people consider like this kind of stuff the crumbs, like the little pieces. Little pieces. This is all from the Home Is. I also consider strips, like all these different strips, crumbs to me. I just sort of lump that all together and talk about it at once. So what I decided to do, when did I decide that anyways? I don't know if you remember, but it must have been about, it wasn't in January. I think it was in February. I thought I'm going to go, and everything I'm working on, I want to save these things. And not just save them. I'm actually going to sew them up as I go so that I can see what that's like. I just wanted to experience that. I have never done that. I have never sewed bunches of crumb blocks or string blocks as I was making things for months. So this is now about, February, March, April. So I'm about probably almost 3 months of doing this. And it's interesting. This is the one I'm currently working on. It's not quite, I'm trying to get them around 8 by 8. So an 8-inch block around, but I'm not trimming them. I'm just getting them close to 8-inch, trying to go over the 8-inch, not under, but just over an 8-inch block. So this one's about 8 inches wide, but not long enough yet. So I have to add on the top and the bottom. So what I found out was a couple things. It takes a little time, so that if you have deadlines, which I do right now, it's a bit of a struggle sometimes to sew these up because they take time. I could be sewing the stuff that needs to be sewn, or doing my cross stitch, or doing my English paper piecing. So they are going to take time to keep on top of it. I like the fact that I'm keeping on top of it, because otherwise I am not inspired by a big bag of little pieces like this. That does not inspire me at all. What does inspire me is making these blocks as I go. Now I've made a couple of blue ones. So there's maybe a couple blue ones so far. This is the third one. So that's pretty good. I also made some of these. These are made from a project that is a future project, so these were leftovers from that. I made these blocks from the Jolly Bar 3. Some of the strips were in the middle, and then I used the sew and flips for the corners. I still have one more, because remember I'm going to make that into a pillow. And then what else? Let's take a look here. Whoops. Okay, so down in this bin, whoops. No, I'm all messed up here. There you go. Now you're in here. So here was the Easter stuff. A couple of these might be just a little small. So these two are a little small. So I'm going to have to find things that I work on in the coming future that can go on and add to these. But here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 completed blocks. No, 9, 10 from the Easter stuff. But wait, there's more. This is from, what was that, the Hope? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the bees. I love that. 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 from that. So that means 8 and however many, I don't remember how many I said. I didn't count them up in advance. But I have these, which will be 4. There's 2 of these, 8 of these, and whatever this stack was over here of the Easter, 3 of the blue, and there'll definitely be a 4th blue. And then now I have these little bits. I still have these things. This was cut off the back of my farmer's wife backing. So I still have like these strips. I've kind of put them by tone. So these are some lights, some black and white, and like these I might be able to add to the Easter ones. To put them in there in that red and pink to the Easter ones. I got to use them up. So I have got quite a few blocks already. And I still have that little bit that's extra that I need to be sure that I don't accumulate a big pile of this stuff, because that I've discovered is totally uninspiring. Now I have a lot of these blocks. I have no idea what I'll do with them. I also, if you'll notice, I did them by project, which means they kind of look different. So, you know, this and this are really different color families. So would I put them in the same quilt? You know, if I had mixed the fabrics up, like mixed these purples and with these, then if everything was a big ball, but then that means I'd have to, you know, accumulate them all together. Since I'm sewing them as I'm working on a project, that's why they end up very coordinated color-wise. So that's an observation. Now, I am going to continue this. I'm definitely going to continue this for a full 6 months. And I want to see in 6 months how many blocks I have, if I'm still interested in doing it. Because it is very fun and I love it. I just have to keep on top of it. I must remember to do them. I had forgotten about these Home Is ones, and I had to get them out. Just before I was doing this video, when I was making the blocks, I got them out because I was like, oh my goodness, they've accumulated quite a bit and I haven't made anything. So I have to start sewing those up and get them sewn up. So that is my status. First, you have your Home Is for today. You will make your hidden treasures. What hidden treasures do you have in the garage? And then if you love this crumb block talk, crumb chatter, leave me a comment and tell me what you think about the crumb blocks, and are you doing them? Just give me your thoughts. And do you like hearing about it? Do you like seeing what I'm doing? Because I realize I'm not taking pictures of them. I haven't been showing them. I'm like, I just, you know, they're just sort of like this little sideline thing. So I need to get on that a little bit. All right, my friend, links are down below. Please hit subscribe when you're there so we can be friends all the time. I love you. Mwah. See you online.